Because some of you do not have a group two, I am going to provide this and let y'all use this. Even if you have a group two, you want to read over this, see how you can tweak yours a little bit. Try to put it in your own words, though. What I did is I took my group two and I made a 2.5 inch margin over here so I could write notes in the side. And instead of putting insert comment and all that, then I have to click on it to open it. That's just too much right now. Okay, so what I did is I first of all read through that section and what is the main idea? The main idea is very much the same as it is in the other ones. And one of those, there are other lessons, or excuse me, there are other main ideas, but this main one in this section was not touching the space-time continuum. Don't do anything that will interrupt that, or history could change. And, it could be good, but probably bad. That's the way science fiction is. So, in looking at that and going through this, and this is the one where Eccles totally just doesn't get it about a dead mouse. It's a dead mouse. Who cares? Okay, which gets Travis to, especially for this trip. Travis has to know that Eccles understands that you can't mess with stuff on this expedition, okay? And something dead could, if you kill something, it could be a bad thing. That's what he's trying to get across to Eccles. But we all know Eccles has a thick skull. So then they talk about the person, they talk about events in history that could have been altered had somebody gone back from the future into medieval times and destroyed some things, even plants. Okay. So, what I decided is that I need to make sure that this transfers over. Hold on just a minute. Okay. I think you can still see it. So, what I did, I envision the main idea being kind of like in the middle here. So, disturbing the space time continuum with even the slightest contact with nature can lead to devastating effects, altering and even obliterating history altogether. Okay. Now, if you're in group four, you know what happens. So, or you may not have understood the end. I want y'all to explain that to us. It's pretty evident what happened. Okay, so now that I have my main idea, which y'all need to decide on what your main idea is, I'll take important details from excuse me, beginning, middle, and end. So right here, the very beginning is when Eccles just disregards a dead mouse, okay, or dead mice. They're insignificant to him. And that's when Travis knows that he must make sure Eccles understands you can't mess with time. Time and nature are in a delicate relationship together. And he's not convinced that Eccles knows this. And so, knowing that, Lesperance jumps in and says, I went before our expedition got here. I went back to the jungle where you're going to be, and I tracked all of these dinosaurs, and I found the ones that were going to die anyway by some freak accident. And so I painted them with red. Those are the only ones that you guys on this expedition can shoot. Okay, so right now we don't know if that really registered with Eccles or not. But in the middle, it talks about that, and you could put in there that as they passed by each year in time, they talked about significant dates that happened, 1492, and even later say, once they got to that prehistoric jungle, that was before Jesus was born. So they bring up a bunch of different events in history, and you could add that in there. Then at the very end, they're getting off the time machine, and Eccles, as if he doesn't have a clue of what Travis and Lesperance said, plays like he's going to shoot one of those pterodactyls up in the air, flying around. And Travis is getting to his wits' end. Okay, he's disgusted, but as the anticipation mounts, the men really want to get out. They step onto the path. I said right there. But then when Eccles asks where their dinosaur is, that's when things kind of change because Travis says, "Hey, in just a few minutes, we're going to cross paths with him." And they could hear him. They could hear the jungle go quiet. And then the sound of thunder. They could hear him coming. And that's when the true Eccles comes out. It says here he shrinks back. He's overwhelmed when he sees the dinosaur. I mean, imagine 1 ton, one leg weighing what an elephant weighs. He's got two legs, and then the little dainty arms in front of him, probably freakish looking, but still it's beautiful. It glistens and it's graceful like a ballerina. Now go figure that one out. And all of a sudden, he doesn't want to be part of this expedition. So now we see the true Eccles, a frightened little man. So what I did, now I could weave this, the nature part and all that in there. Um, and I could start then with this, and that, but I'm going to have to shorten it. But watch how I started out, not with the first detail in the yellow box, but with the last. I have them disembarking. Okay, the primeval juggle, you can take melodious, noisy out if you want to. The primeval juggle was busy with the beating wings of pterodactyls and bats as the four men disembark the time machine. Eccles playfully pointed his rifle at one of the flying beasts, pretending to shoot it. It was as nothing that Travis and Lesperance had told him minutes before had registered. Now, notice I started out with a detail from the last part, and then I jumped back up to the first parts. Travis had stressed to him how all the living things were intertwined, how they each developed on the other. I'm sorry, each depended on the other to survive and fill the planet with their own kind. Lesperance even stressed how, sorry, the dinosaurs they would shoot that day were going to die that day anyway. So the ones that they were going to shoot were already going to die by some accident. He told how he pre-selected them, and he talks about the paint. But then the last sentence goes back to the front for I'm sorry, goes back to the third detail. But Eccles' bravado disregard for the fragility of nature would soon be replaced by fear and an overwhelming sense of dread and his own mortality. Here.
Yeah. I need the keys.